Hello. Welcome to the after show. We'll be with you for about, 45 minutes, an hour. You're just tuning in. Bubba will not be doing any after shows this week. He's got a lot on his plate, metaphorically. And he needs to be there for his family, so we will be covering and holding down the fort for him until he returns to the after show game, which should be Monday.
For the lead up for Barb.
Yeah, I would think so.
Mm-hmm. Barb starts 1 week from today, which is shocking.
I know.
The fact that it just creeps up on you like this, because you get back. I feel like I haven't worked in weeks because I haven't. Was certainly out of the routine, and then you come back and it's like, boom, craziness.
Yeah, we thought the Daddy Joe stuff would be
a
lot. And that was like, okay, that was a lot, and then also to pile on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Just the usual sort of routine of coming back into focus, and then to add on to that, a lot of big time life changes that nobody really foresaw.
Mm-mm.
So, obviously our thoughts and possibly prayers, if that's what I never know what to say, because I know people always say, like, I'm praying for you, but, like, I'm not, but I am thinking about you. So,
yeah.
I usually just say, I'm thinking about you. Let me know if there's anything that I can do.
Yeah, I say I'm thinking about you, or I have you in my thoughts. Let me know let me know what you need me to do.
Yeah, that's just the thing to say, but I don't think that anybody would ever really reach out to you if they needed something. I feel like that most people, like 99.99% of the time, when you say that, you know that the other person isn't going to reach out. So, that's why I always try to think, like, okay, like, how can I help them? Because I know that they're not going to ask for help. So, like, what can we do to make your life easier?
Well, I have trouble with that, because I always feel like if I do it, I'm a bother. Even I try to do something nice, like, not trying to be like, the Nashes.
Okay.
Like, I felt like if I was bothering them, if I was like, hey, you guys want to go do something, you know what I mean?
Oh, no,
like,
certainly not. I think that distractions are the some of the times the things you need the most, just to kind of get a break from the somberness and the and just the sadness. You need someone to kind of come in and go, like, let's do something light and carefree.
But see, that's where I don't know. I guess in my head I overthink it, because, like, even with Bubba and Dr. Dan, like, I kind of just be like, okay, they just want their space, they want their time. I don't want to bother them.
Yeah.
I think you give their, oh my gosh, anything you need to do, and then I kind of back off. And I've been told by other people you should probably not do that, and kind of see if they want to maybe hang out every once in a while, but.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you don't really know what the move is, because, like you said, you don't want to be a bother, you don't want to be intrusive. But I think that people, even if they decline, even if you say, like, hey, do you want to hang out? And they say, I can't, or whatever, they just appreciate. I think that's really the lesson of 2023 for you, Lummy, is that people want to be invited to stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Thanks, yeah.
Yeah, they just want to be invited to stuff, and even if they don't decide to go, or they don't even want to go, they appreciate that you thought about them and took time out of your day to reach out and say, hey, I'm thinking of you, and I'm going to make time for you if you want to do that. If you don't, fine. And it's really hard when it comes to grief, because number one, like, everybody grieves differently.
Yes.
So some people want space. Some people want to be just with their family. Some people want as many people to comfort them as possible. And a lot of times you don't even know what kind of griever you are until you go through it.
Right. And a lot of times, too, it's like, leave me alone on day 1 through 5, but on day 6, I want everyone around me. Or, it can change as well.
Right. Yeah, certainly. So you never know what to do. I would always just kind of do as much as you can without being intrusive.
Well, that's why, like, even with the Walker to Janie cakes, Ashley's like, you going to tell him? And I kind of was nervous even bringing it up, because I feel like Bubba was going to be like, let's it just happen. So like maybe like
Yeah.
you know, so that's why I was like, well, I don't know what the timeline is. Like Blitz said, you know, maybe 5 days and then you start offering things, or if it's a couple days.
Here's and I like, and not to put Anna over, but to be honest, like what she did was like perfect, and I wasn't even thinking like, hey, that's great. Like, go bring food, literally drop it off the door, tell them, hey, there's food, get it and leave, and like that way you're not bothering them, but you're still doing something for them.
Yeah,
like
no,
that's awesome.
Yeah, because I mean, not to put Dr. Dan over, even though he certainly deserves it, but he was talking about in the eulogy about people being there for you and how his dad was always there for everybody else, and he called on the audience to be that person that is that person for somebody else. So it's like I've thought about times when I was going through something hard and someone truly went out of their way, like more than just like a text, which is nice. Like texts aren't bad or anything like that, but when people truly go out of their way and send a card or do something, like you don't fucking forget that shit.
Right.
So I try to, and that's why I try to think like creatively, but also not intrusively as well, because you don't want to, like you said, Lummy, like you don't want to step on toes, you don't want to be a bother. I think when I hear about like what Bubba and his family are going through, like it's like meeting after phone call after this person after arranging this, it's like the last thing they want to do maybe is respond to like your fucking little ass text or something. Like I'm always thinking that. Yeah. So, but really, even if they don't even get back to it for a couple days, like just know that they appreciate your thoughts and you taking even the slightest amount of effort to reach out to them, even if they don't get back to you. They certainly appreciate it.
And I'm not speaking for anybody at all, because like we just said, everyone grieves differently, but like, to take Walker over there the first few days is probably too much. But like after that, then
what I was saying is even asking, because we planned on it maybe like next week. Yeah, sometime like maybe after the weekend. I mean, I wanted to put it out there.
Yeah, I mean, and again, complete guess on my part, but I think that would be like great.
Yeah, because I figured that's the distraction. Because obviously, learning from the Diacos and Bubba now, the distraction is the best part.
Yeah, distractions. They certainly are helpful. Like that doesn't mean that you shouldn't like process the grief and you shouldn't like ever think about it. But you're gonna have alone time. Like that's just inevitable as like a human being. You're gonna have time when you're in your car by yourself, or when you have a few hours where nothing's really going on, or when you're in the shower or something like that. You're gonna have plenty of time to like process and grieve. But you really do need those interruptions of like, there are things that are like you can still laugh and that's okay, and you can still see other people and enjoy life, and that is okay. Yeah, because I know, like for me, like one of the greatest things, and that's why I'm so happy for Brandon the Quad, because we're having like all this death and grief and like shocking, really sad events happen, but then you have something as glorious and as exciting as a biracial, bisexual, quadriplegic orgy. Like that is joyful. You know?
Must have a pen up there.
Yeah, I have several pens up here. Yeah, I just
I got it written down, okay?
So happy for him and so excited for him, because joy is really contagious, and like you hear Brandon how excited he is and how much he struggled in his life with his own shit, to like give some sort of literal relief to him is exciting for everybody, and it's something that everybody can celebrate. And I know that when I was going through hard times, really challenging times where I was alone a lot and I was processing things I didn't want to be processing 24/7. One of the greatest things that ever happened and this has happened on multiple occasions, is someone does something like absolutely outrageous. Like for example, the last time I was going through something like, pretty traumatic for me, in the grand scheme of things, not that traumatic, but for me, I was going through a rough time. And then, a few days after whatever happened to me happened, it got out that a coworker of mine was sending his dick to people. And that got leaked, and he was in a lot of trouble.
We know what you can do now.
So it's not at the BRN. I think Rhett has a good grasp of who this might be because we may have worked with this person.
Oh, yeah, I know who it is.
Yeah, and so he was sending his dick out to people, and that got out, and that was one of the greatest things that ever happened to me because, I was able to just focus and laugh at somebody else and the kind of the tragedies in their life. But that was, he was dumb. But and then also like another thing with that helped me get through hurricane epilepsy, which happened in 2019. I can't believe it'll be 4 years in April. But for those that kind of know a little bit about my history with the bone and HR and getting in trouble and the whole epilepsy deal, I mean, yeah, and I've mentioned this multiple times, but 2 weeks after that shitstorm, someone that I worked with, again, loosely, or was associated with the station loosely, ended up getting in trouble because he was trying to fuck a 14-year-old boy. And that, again, was like another gift from the gods where all of the focus on my life, I was able to kind of transfer over and be like, well, at least I didn't do that. Well, at least it's not that. Like, I can recover from a shitty video that I made on social media, like not making fun of. Some people perceived it to be that way, but talking about a situation where I was at a comedy show and a woman had an epileptic seizure and it interrupted the show, and I was kind of just detailing that. And some people may have interpreted that as me making fun of a woman who I called a bitch, but I call everybody a bitch. I call Bubba a bitch, or my friend Aaron a bitch. Like, that's how I just talk. But and the people that know me know that, but the people that don't know me, like the Epilepsy Foundation of America, they don't know me. They don't know how I talk. So they interpreted that as me making fun of someone with a medical condition.
Yeah, you were making humor of a situation, not of a person. And people have a problem with like separating those two things.
I don't even think I was like making fun or making it in a humorous way. It was more just like I went to the Siegfried and Roy show and I saw the guy get killed by a tiger, and I want to let people know that I was at that show. Like, it was just the most insane thing that ever happened.
Right.
And I just wanted people to know that I was at that show because I thought in my little peanut head that like was going to go viral. Like, there were going to be shots everywhere of Andrew Schultz doing a comedy show, and what the fuck, a woman has a seizure, and he starts roasting the EMTs. There's no intermission in these types of shows, and there was like a 20-minute intermission, lights are on, and he has to bring the people back to their seats, back into the mind frame of let's laugh. And that is very, very hard to do. So I was more like giving him props. And I just wanted people to know that, like, fuck, yeah, I was at that show. I saw that shit live. But then, again, when you're speaking in a very colorful way, an animated way, and sometimes you say things like, oh, the show was off the chain, which I still regret, and calling her a bitch, which is just me referring to her as a person. It didn't go over well. But anyways, what I'm saying is, back to the original point, is that distractions are helpful. And that doesn't mean you distract yourself necessarily with like drugs and alcohol and shit like that, because that too can be a distraction. You got to be careful not to use that as like a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
Or distracting yourself to the point of like not dealing with what you need to deal with, and then it, bubbling up 20 years later. But something like grief, you can't even push that down. Like, you can't, because the loss is so palpable that, especially for Bubba, Tara, and Janie Cakes, the loss is so holds so much gravity that there's no way you can't process it. So you need people to kind of come along and remind you that you can laugh. Like, that's okay to still have parts of your life that you enjoy, and remember that there is a side of you that is whimsical and happy, and even though you're going through a hard time, and even though that loss and that void will never be fully filled, you will still experience happiness once again, even though it feels like you can't. Like, it feels like you're just in this dark hole and you're never going to be able to smile again or enjoy anything anymore, but like, you will. And then there'll be this like weird thing where you feel guilty for that. You know, I've heard people say that where, you know, maybe they've lost a child and then they start to like laugh and smile again because they're out with friends, and then they feel guilty. Like, how can I even smile? I lost a kid or whatever. Right. So it's a very complicated thing, and it's one of the things that's like the worst about having like a huge brain like humans is that we're plagued by these emotions of grief. Like, I don't know. I'm sure, like, I know other animals, at least allegedly, experience grief in certain ways, but not to the complexity and the depth I think that humans do.
No
just
way.
Because they're, you know, you think about what you could have done. Like, I don't think, I know it's said that like, oh, elephants like grieve or whatever, but like,
well, I've seen dogs grieve.
yeah, and they're sad, but like, are they thinking like, what could I have done? I wish I would have said goodbye. Like, all of those.
No.
I wish I would have done this differently. I think it's more of like a simplistic missing and a sense of loss, and maybe more of an instinctual, like biological. Oh, like my child or my whatever kid is dead. You know, lost resources, you know, genetic shit. But when it comes to humans, it's just so much more complicated than that. And so it's
That's like, so Bubba talked earlier about telling his mom to go ahead and buy the Mercedes that she wanted to buy.
Uh-huh.
And I agree. But I knew someone years ago that their significant other passed and left him like with some money, and like they still lived like not a poor person, but like they said it like it was disrespectful to spend that money, and I'm like, well, that's what it's for.
They
though.
like lived their normal life.
Yeah,
and left it there.
Yeah, and like they didn't touch that money, but like had to scrape together money to like pay their bills, and I'm like, dude, you've got, you know, to be honest, I think it was like $700,000 or something like that.
Oh.
And I was like, you have money in the bank, and they were older, and I'm like, use that to pay your bills, you know, like whatever. But, you know, I don't know. Because it does, the thing is, whether you spend that money or not, it's not going to change that, you know, whether that person's here.
Yeah. I get that, but I feel like I also understand where people are saying like you're not. What I don't even know how you would explain it, but you say you get a big settlement from something like life insurance. I get, because that's kind of what it's for. But like, say you get a big settlement over like your kid's death. It's like, okay, now you got a dead kid, but you got a Ferrari. So it's like,
right.
Now out of this situation, which was horrible, you've now like rewarded yourself. Like, so I get,
Sure.
I get where it's like kind of icky, but also like, fuck, the kid is dead or your spouse is gone. Like, what else are you gonna do? You're gonna just fucking like sit and cry? And
yeah, whether you have that Ferrari or not, you're like, the kid is still gonna be dead. Like, it sucks, but
yeah. So there's,
and
really
I'm also not saying like
do.
go crazy. You know, don't take, you know, all the money and go crazy buying a Ferrari when, you know, like then you're poor. Like, don't be stupid with it either.
Yeah, but I mean, like you said, if you got some money left over or they left you or whatever, then again, that's what it's for. And it seems like there's less of a problem when it's a parent that dies, you know, and you get a big inheritance and then you're buying a house. Because, like, that's what it's fucking for. That is what it's for. And actually, it's funny. I was actually talking to my mom about this, about my Bubby. And Bubby like timed it really well. Like she had the will all set up and everything that she wanted. And probably about 3 months before she died, like she just had an inkling. It's not like she was sicker than usual. And she died when she was 94.
Oh.
But she knew that the time was coming. And so she just started literally planning the funeral. Like to the point of, she's like, I want this person to talk. I want that person to talk. I want you to, you know, give a special whatever acknowledgement of this person that's going to come in. Everything from like what she wanted with the body to what she wanted the kids to spend the inheritance on. She's like, my mom told me that, her older sister's name is Barbara, and she's like, Bubby said, I want Barbara to buy a house because, Barbara, I guess, was struggling with money and couldn't afford a house. She's like, with her inheritance, she needs to buy a house.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what she did, so it is very, very helpful when, like Bubba was saying earlier, when the plans are set. Because you don't want to disrespect and dishonor someone's life and do something that they would have wanted. But if they don't state what they want either verbally or in writing, it's very hard to honor those wishes because you just don't know what those wishes are. So 813-90 Bubba, if you'd like to call in, well, we'd love to hear from you, most of you.
Maybe.
Hello, who's this?
Florida Stanley.
What's up, Florida Stanley?
I usually don't call back-to-back days in a row, but now you're on a subject where, like, I have actual insight on.
Yeah.
So my mom has me. I'm an only child, and she has me in her will and a whole bunch of life insurance. She won't tell me the exact number, probably because she knows I'll kill her. But
there's an interest in her death.
Yeah.
She has she's told me that she has very specific instructions on what I'm supposed to do with the money, and she won't even tell me everything what it is. She will tell me that one of the specific instructions is I am to take 2 months off of whatever work I'm doing, and she wants her ashes spread all over the world. So she's got like plane tickets already, reserved and set up, and she wants basically every tropical place in the world. She wants her ashes spread. So I'm to take 2 months off of work and basically travel the world to spread her ashes all over the place.
That's incredible. Like at first I thought that was kind of weird, but it seems like it's more for you than for her. Like she wants you to enjoy the money and go.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost like maybe she the places she wanted to go and she could never go, so she wants you to go for her.
Well, no, we did a bunch of traveling when I was a kid.
Oh.
I mean, she could go there, but it's just like she wants the remains of her body just spread everywhere. Like even places that we've already gone, she told me there's places that we've already gone to that she's having me go back to spread her ashes there. So I you guys are on the subject, and
that's an interesting request.
How my
but
will
I like
is
it.
written, and at first I thought it was weird too. But I'm like, at the same time, that's what she wants.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
And she wrote it specifically. This is exactly what I want, how I want it, and here's what you're to spend the money on.
I mean, that's cool.
Okay, yeah, whatever. But all right, I'll see you next weekend, guys.
All right,
Cool.
Florida Stanley.
Yep. See ya.
We'll see you then.
Yeah, next weekend.
I know, it's
A
crazy.
week from today.
813-90 Bubba. We're all very, very excited for Brandon the Quad. Lummy, I saw some people commenting that you made Babyface look like a moron yesterday. I didn't really hear the
If
sports
that's
show.
happened, I mean, yeah, of course. Oh, wait, you didn't tune into the sports show?
I know, and I actually wanted to get some updates from you. Not really with the actual sports, but obviously with the Damar Hamlin situation that's going on. I'm sure you're eyeing that very closely.
Well, I did not tune into the sports show either. However, from 3 buildings away, I could hear you yelling. So
I just kept hearing that the sports show was awesome. Did you face Babyface? Or?
I mean, I don't know if I faced them enough. I mean, Rhett was there also, the filthy. Brian went into his Brian lawyer just trying to be a dick mode.
All schmarmy.
Yeah, yes, thank you. Trying to recall things from 9 months ago that we weren't even talking about to try to flip you out and get you off your point.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Once Lummy asked him about the yak, it was over.
The what?
The yak.
The yak.
Yeah, the yak in Miami.
I read the chat because I was already I was on a whole different topic, whole different thing, and then Brian started bringing up he was trying to confuse and spin so then he would look right, and it just started pissing me off because I could just tell when Brian gets into his little smarmy little attitude, he can't be wrong. So he's gonna then even if he's wrong at something, he's going to then go back to something that was said to try to make you look dumb and discredit you on it.
He's really a black belt in debate and making people look stupid, because even if he's trapped in a corner, he'll bring up something dumb that you did to kind of squirrel you, and then now you're back on the defense with Brian, is what I've noticed.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it was.
There's not a lot of gotcha moments with Brian because he's pretty cunning. He's pretty smart.
Because then when you actually start trying to defend yourself, he'll either cut you off or let you go and be like, okay, yep, okay, yep,
right.
That's what you said. You sure, and give you that and then that even pisses you off more.
Well, he's a lawyer and he's good at what he does.
And
so.
he had been on the show in 6 months?
Yeah. Pretty much, Rhett worked hard on this big thumbnail that he did to add Brian into it, and then Brian didn't show up for 2 months.
What a fucker.
And then he decided to show up in this really nice golf shirt, and
I liked it.
and turned into Brian, babyface. Mm-hmm. I really like Brian. Sitting next to him at the funeral, we had
when you weren't talking and you were holding his hand.
Yes.
Okay.
And I mean, because we had a good conversation because we got there about the same time. And we were talking a lot, kind of joking around, and he's cool. We were gonna have drinks, but then obviously Forbici happened, so. But yes, because
you were gonna have drinks?
We didn't know Forbici, so Brian and I and Ashley were gonna go to the old courthouse and have a couple drinks after and kind of hang out, and then Forbici, so we didn't do that. But I mean, Brian yesterday, I feel like in the afternoon when he comes off his morning lawyerism, his lawyering, he's very, I'd say 80 to 90% of the time he's very swarmy, whatever the hell the word is.
Smarmy?
Oh God.
What is it? Swami?
Yes, Swami. He's very Swami.
He's very Swami Brian, and I can't take it sometimes because then he's got to get his mic tight. He's got to make sure Swami, whatever. Thank you.
I just need to repeat it because now I'm going to start saying it fucking dumb
that's
like
why
you.
That's why I keep trying to say it more for you.
He is a Hindu religious teacher. Swami.
Yeah, he's a Swami.
Oh, nice.
He's a salami, a Swami. Listen, Anna, you would die. There's no way that you could handle Babyface. He's so.
Yeah, because I've never met him before.
No. I'm saying I know. What I'm saying is that when he gets into his little mood, it's tough.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I've seen him in action, and he's good at what he does.
He is.
And he's entertaining. With Babyface, I feel like his jokes and shit either hit like super hard or fall flat. Like there's really not a lot of in between with Brian. But what I like about him is even when he falls flat like 5 times in a row, he's still fucking trying to get out of that hole, and he usually does. Because sometimes he puts Bubba in a really, really fucking shitty mood. But then he always gets him to smile or crack a little giggle or something like that, and he gets him back in his good graces.
Yeah, that's what he does. I asked him if he was coming to Bart, but I'm not sure.
Oh, he's coming. We talked to him about it.
Yeah, he said he was coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I asked him yesterday. Oh, maybe it was about his wife. I think it was about his wife.
Yeah, I'm not sure if she's coming. The daughter, certainly not, especially if your son's going to be there and, sexually assault her. So
that's true, yeah.
It was not sexual assault. They both liked each other.
Oh, I'm sure.
So he tore his shirt off?
She was asked. Never mind.
Oh, my God.
Hey,
Jesus. Whoa.
We're talking about baby faces.
We'll be reading Lummy's lawyer letter tomorrow on the air.
God damn.
Yeah.
Can you give us an update about the Damar Hamlin situation? Because to be honest with you, I'm trying to pay attention to what's going on, but it's been a little bit challenging. Obviously, first I took a few weeks off, and when I go to California, I make a concerted effort not to be as fully engulfed in the news as I usually am. I don't like that. I think it's good to just kind of take a break, take a breather. And it was weird because, I think on, I think it was yesterday. I don't even know what day it was, but someone said something about Biden, and I'm like, oh yeah, Biden's the guy. Not that I forgot he was president, but I hadn't had a Biden thought in about 3 weeks, and it was really, really nice. Mm-hmm. But now that we're kind of back in the swing of things, it's hard to get in the swing of things just because of everything that's been going on.
The good thing is, much like you hadn't thought about Biden in 2 weeks, he hasn't had a thought in 2 weeks either.
Yeah, so it's perfect. So now we're on the same wavelength,
He's on vacation.
Which is great. Yeah, from life.
Yeah. He's he is showing signs of improvement. That was
we're talking about Damar Hamlin, by the way.
About an hour ago. He's showing signs of improvement.
And that's what they've been saying.
I know. I mean, that's...
Go ahead, Rhett.
Sorry, not to cut you off, Lummy. They said 10 minutes ago, a couple updates came out. His agents say he has shown substantial improvement. He is awake and neurologically intact, so he is interacting with people again.
And the Bills are practicing.
And was there ever a question that it was a concussion based, or I think
no? It was
all heart.
He went into cardiac arrest on the field after taking a hit to the chest,
and
it's kind of the first thing something like that has happened.
Well, and the thing is that what's kind of annoying with some people that don't watch football. Well, there's a lot of things annoying about it. Which now the different shows are saying we should cancel football, and they're going to start trying to do that.
Oh yeah, we'll get into that. We'll get into that next.
But so initially they're like, why do the trainers take so long? Well, the trainers are on the sidelines. They're not watching TV, so they don't know the hit. So they're going, when they go out there, they're thinking he might be knocked unconscious. You know, they don't understand what's going on.
Right.
I don't think anybody thought, oh, he's in cardiac arrest.
But that's what, you know, Monday morning quarterback. Now everyone's like, well, you know, they should have been on it. Why did they wait so long to start doing this? And it's just like, come on, people.
Yeah.
You know, they were trying to blame the NFL and all these different things. And it's
as of right now, the Damar Hamlin's community toy drive is now at $7.14 million.
Yeah, that thing raised a lot.
For all those toys, for all those
and
kids.
the goal was $2,500.
Now, did you say that the goal of the GoFundMe the cause for the GoFundMe has shifted or something like that?
Yes, I was reading yesterday that they said that they posted an update that this was originally for his foundation for kids. It was actually a very specific thing to give toys to like a certain family or something.
Yeah, it was him and his mom did it.
Right.
Yeah.
However, they have now changed, and they said any money raised recently will go to him and his family and the foundation to do what they want with.
Did they say do what they want or just say, obviously they didn't word it like that. They just said it's for him and his family through this time or something like that.
They have changed it again. I'm reading it now.
Oh, jeez.
So they removed all of that part of it. And it just talks about the Chasing M Foundation and how this money is going to go to that foundation and what all the foundation does. And
okay, so now it's back to the toys.
Yeah, the other day it did mention that the money is going to go to the Chasing M Foundation, to Damar, and to Damar's family.
Well, that's probably when they thought he was.
Yeah, to do. I mean, they basically said to. They didn't say to do what they want, but it basically said to, you know, they can decide what to do with it or something along those lines.
Interesting how that changes. Everything's always a money
This
grab.
is the only current fund being used by the family. We appreciate understanding, given time and space. Again, thank you for your thoughts, prayers, and support. That's all it says.
All right, so so he's not dead. Everything seems to be okay. I mean, and so I see what people are, some of the emojis people are using in chat. As to what they think may have been the cause of this. I'm not a doctor, obviously. The resident doctor is not here today, but I didn't know that you could hit someone in the chest and it could cause cardiac arrest. Is this guy, are they suggesting that's what happened, or are they saying that he had some underlying conditions that
they haven't come out and said anything like
they
that
haven't?
yet.
Okay, so it's just like it was cardiac, because usually you don't see a 24-year-old who's in, I imagine, pretty good shape drop on the field after an impact to the chest from cardiac arrest.
It's been a lot of speculation, but a lot of people are linking it. There was a really similar injury that happened in hockey like 25 years ago where a guy took a slap shot to the chest and then immediately dropped on the ice and went into cardiac arrest.
Did that guy die?
No, he survived, but it's incredibly rare, but that's not like the official ruling. That's just what a lot of people are linking it to.
Oh,
so
okay. That's good to know.
It is still a little open-ended.
I got you. Well, I appreciate the updates because I really wasn't following that too closely. It was more just like periodically seeing if he was dead or not, and he's still alive, so that's very, very good. But I see that Joy Behar, which is it The View even?
Yeah, she's on The View still.
Okay, because I know that.
Whoopi,
okay.
and some others.
Right. Now, did Barbara Walters quit before she died, or was she there?
No, yeah, she quit.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, all right.
I don't think she quit. I think they got rid of her.
Yeah, I don't know if she was showing signs of dementia or if she just kind of bowed out.
She was still thinking about Richard Pryor.
Okay, right. Fucking Richard Pryor. I am going to post that on Instagram today, by the way. The View host, well, I don't know if I don't want to get a copyright strike, so I'll just kind of explain what happened. But apparently, Joy Behar made some comments about football. And she said 45% of Americans think that tackle football is appropriate. Heterosexual men voted the most support for kids doing football, and conservatives were more likely to support youth tackle football. Just saying.
What?
Now, is that...
What is she just saying? I'd like for her to let us know.
I feel like what she's trying to infer is that this is heterosexual
white.
Not well. She didn't say white, but she inferred white with the conservative deal. that apparently this is the fault of conservative white men, I think is what she's trying, straight white men, excuse me.
Yeah, it is.
Which is interesting because if these conservative white men didn't want to watch a lot of these black players play, then maybe a lot of them would still be in poverty. You know, because you think about a lot of the backgrounds of where these people, these stellar athletes come from, and a lot of times they don't come from good neighborhoods. They don't come from money, and like either, and this isn't me saying this, but it seems like it's also the ethos of the culture of growing up, you know, in the projects or someplace that's maybe not the nicest place to grow up. That the ethos is like, listen, if you want to pull yourself out of poverty, you gotta be a rapper or you gotta be an athlete.
Yeah.
So pick one or the other. And it seems like a lot of them are able to play football, get seen, get scouted, go to a good college, and then make it to the NFL. So if she thinks it's bad that people, especially white, straight, conservative men, are watching football, the first thing that came to mind is like, but that's the whole reason why the sport, or why football, excuse me, is in business, is because people want to watch it.
Yeah.
So if they don't want to watch it and there's no audience for it, then there's no money in it, and then now you want this black kid to stay poor, is what I read into it. But you know, whatever. I'm not quite sure. But any thoughts on that?
Two could play that game if that's what she's gonna say. You know.
Yeah. So I think that's a little bit ridiculous. And then obviously the even more common sense retort to that is like, well, no one's forcing him to play, so I don't understand what's going on here. It seems like that is always the fault of the people of the market. Like, oh, it's the money. It's like, well, sure, that maybe there's more pressure to play because there's money in it, or there's more of a motivation, I should say, to play because there's money in it. But at the end of the day, we are adults for the most part, especially if you're in the NFL, you're an adult, and we have agency over our minds and our bodies, even if we are being bribed with money or motivated by money. At the end of the day, you have agency over your decisions about what you want to do with your body, and at what point you think that possibly getting a life-threatening or life-altering injury or concussion, you're saying, hey, listen, that is a pretty big risk to blow out a knee or to take a few hits to the head. But if it pulls me and my family out of poverty and I can create intergenerational wealth, then fuck it, I'm going to take that chance. You should be able to, as an adult human being, to make those decisions for you and your body and what you want to do with it. So we need to stop pretending that it's literally everybody else's fault, when at the end of the day, these people are making decisions for themselves.
Well, Jill Behar, she said she suggests people to play golf and tennis instead.
Well, because
that makes
you did say
sense.
It's on them. They weren't forced to play, however they were drafted. So
that is true. You know what? You got it.
There is conscription in the NFL.
Yeah, they were drafted, so they didn't have a choice.
They were drafted.
Yeah.
I mean, Anna, do you think there should be like a ban on tackle football for certain ages or anything?
For certain ages?
Yeah, because that was one of the other arguments, that you shouldn't let your kids until a certain age.
What's the age? Like,
there was some people that said under 14.
But you're still developing until you're like 25.
Yeah,
so I don't know what to tell you.
Here's the thing.
I know that's
there's a difference between having it not be smart for your 5-year-old to play tackle and banning it.
Correct.
I wouldn't want my kid to play tackle football at a very young age, but I also don't think it should be banned.
I mean, that's what my parents did. I didn't play tackle football until I was 14. I played flag football and a lot of other sports.
Right. But I don't think it should be banned either.
No, I don't think it should be banned.
Yeah, I don't think it's smart, but I don't think it should be banned.
I mean, I feel like it's more on the onus of the organization. Like if you have like Pee Wee or whatever and you like want to protect yourself, you're like, all right, we're doing flag football until whatever age. But then at some point, I feel like every sport that I was a part of as a kid, I definitely, and I mean, as a minor, I definitely had to take a waiver home and have mom and dad sign it, or mom or dad or whatever sign it and say, listen, like your kid could get hurt playing fucking, I was doing track and field, or I was doing softball, or I was doing t-ball or soccer or whatever. And it was like, listen, in the event that something happens, because like we don't know if your kid has some fucking illness or disease, or if they're gonna drop dead, and then you're gonna fucking sue the shit out of us. There was any time even now as an adult, you walk in and you want to do jujitsu, or you want to do karate, or you want to do anything, Muay Thai, it doesn't matter. You walk in the door as an adult, and the first thing that they do is obviously take your money. But then the second thing they do is they give you a waiver, and they say you got to sign this shit, because in the event that you get hurt in our facility, like, you're not going to sue us, because you're understanding that this is a risk that you're taking. And we always, okay, no problem. So I feel like as long as you're kind of insulated with that, where the parents are making decisions about, their kids, and they're not forcing their kids and dragging their kids and whipping their kids onto the field. I don't know. I don't know if I really have a problem with that, because like you said, Blitz, it's not smart to play tackle football, period.
Right.
Whether you're a kid or not, it's not smart. But if we're going to draw a line in the sand, I feel like it should be 18, because fuck, then you're an adult, and then there's more insulation for the organizations. But then also, like, a lot of high school players are 14 to 17.
Yeah.
So, and your brain is still developing then. So at that point, we're allowing it. So I don't know what to tell you. I don't think it's smart. Maybe high school, I guess. If I were to draw an arbitrary line in the sand, I would say high school. And it's for no other good reason other than the fact that, like, you're in adolescence, so you kind of have a little bit more of an idea of what's going on versus like a fucking 7-year-old.
But then you could even argue, like, even having kids play soccer.
Yeah, you hit the ball with your head, or surfing. I feel like there's more concussions in surfing than anything.
Shark bite.
That, and also you get hit in the head with the fucking board. Like, that happens all the time.
Rip current, drowning.
Yeah.
Look, almost anything you're going to do is dangerous. Driving your car to the football game is probably more dangerous than playing.
Yeah. And there's certainly more sports that are more dangerous than others. Like, there's a lot of injuries in soccer, I'm sure, but there's not really like a lot of concussions. Like, once you start fucking with the head and you need a helmet to play, or maybe you're an animal and you're a rugby player and you don't use a helmet, which arguably might be worse, but I don't know, maybe you don't lead with the head then. But when you start going into the concussion game, I think that's really when you start have to ask questions about risk versus reward. Because obviously, like, you can get hurt. And like, I did dance, my whole life. And there were always injuries with, like, the common ones are, hamstring pulls and ankles that are fucking broken.
Yeah.
But that's fine. Like, you can live a healthy, fulfilled life with a fucked up hamstring, or, a kind of a weak ankle. But you can't really go through life with a fucked up brain.
Yeah, but if you, like what Blitz said, is that anything really? Because if you look at wrestling,
right,
you can hit your head in wrestling. There's just a lot of different, sports that
wrestling.
You don't think about.
What kind? Roman Greco or the other stuff?
Any of
ECW,
WWE,
a chair and barbed wire match.
Yeah, exactly. At 14.
Okay. So the singlet wrestling, not the performative
wrestling, and not wrestling.
Okay, gotcha.
And then when do you start teaching kids how to, like, box or do fighting and stuff like that?
Yeah, it
Jiu-jitsu.
happens.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, not great for the
Isn't
knees.
there kids in that too, right?
Tons of kids.
Okay, like that in boxing. So
and I feel like the kids are obviously doing it a little. Well, here's the thing. You're right, because the kids are fighting other kids. So in my head, I'm like, it's fucking little peewee shit. But a 4-year-old against another 4-year-old, that's that's an even match.
Yeah, he hits his head real hard.
Oh, absolutely. Or break an elbow into a developing body. Like, it's not great. It's not great. But I definitely think that football and
Dark Match Steve says he sprained his wrist while playing chess, and so maybe that's why his wrist is all limp now.
Yeah, you got to again. Everything is a calculated risk, so you got to be careful out there, folks.
Hey, I like Dark Match Steve. He said I got great hair.
There you go. When you do,
you do have good hair. I noticed that at the funeral.
Yeah, that's what he said.
When I turned around one time, and I think when we were watching it go out, I'm like, yeah, Blitz has got some good hair going.
Yeah,
it was flowing.
Mm-hmm. It's good. Hold on. Hello, who's this?
Hi. It's Track Meet.
What's up, Track Meet?
You're gonna make it quick.
Talking about.
He's got a lot to talk about.
I'll try as fast as I can because I'm working. But anyways, about the kids playing football, I a couple things I'm gonna touch on. But the kids playing football or whatever.
Touching.
Your kid wants to play. Yeah, touching me, that's grinding. If your kid wants to play football, let them play. Let your kids choose what they want to play. Don't make anybody do anything they don't want to, even if it's for your benefit. I know some dads want to be super coach dad, and I'm going to never forget all that crap. Just let the kid have fun and enjoy his damn life. Anyways, and then as far as like the Lamar Hamlin thing, don't you? And then I'm going to do the 4 kids in Ohio after that. Damar Hamlin. His deal, don't you love how when somebody rich gets hurt, everybody wants to donate to the rich guy, but some kid gets hurt at the local football field and nobody knows about it?
Yeah. Well, no one knows about it. It's like, obviously less press.
Yeah.
But...
It's weird, but yeah, you're right.
And then the last thing is that university killer guy. If you watch, like, I kind of like watching the video of, like, say, the traffic stop and stuff, because when he gets stopped, you can look into his eyes and look at almost what his brain is thinking. At first, he's kind of like, in my mind, he's like, oh, man, I might get in trouble here. And then once he realizes he's not caught, you almost kind of see a smirk come on his face, and he kind of just turns.
Would that be really different with anybody? Like, if I got pulled over, I'd be like, and then I get, like, let go. I'm like, fuck, yeah.
Yeah, but he wasn't driving, though, right?
I know one of them he was.
Was he?
Yeah, one of them he was.
But I just thought it was curious, like, to watch him and maybe think about what he's thinking about as he knows he's done what he's done and he's getting away with it, and it's just crazy, man.
Sure,
it's like when people steal from their friends and then they go to their freaking friend's house and try to, like, buddy up to them, and their friend has no idea they're the one that robbed them. It's just, like, really crafty, you know?
I get you. It is easy to kind of. Thank you, Track Me. Have a good day. It is easy to kind of like turn around and be like, oh, I see it now. It's like, would you, especially, if you were the cop, would you have, and I did see that one video where the cop is like, he seems suspicious. It's like, yeah, you pulled the guy over. Obviously, you think it's fucking suspicious. But anyways, it is what it is. Obviously, we wish Damar Hamlin a speedy recovery. Do you think he's obvious? Do you think he's going to play again, Lummy?
No, probably not.
Ever again?
Probably not.
Ever?
No.
It's that bad?
No, because he probably has a heart condition.
Yeah, he probably has a condition. They probably say, look, you can, if you want to play, but there's another chance if you take a hit, you could die.
And his contract is guaranteed, right? So he's going to get paid his contract out, right?
Probably not.
No, I thought the NFL contracts were guaranteed.
No, that's baseball.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, NFL, you have to say I want. So he probably got a small signing bonus because he was a late round pick. So yeah, he's
well, and funny enough, the NFL came out and said that for his case in particular, they're going to handle all the medical costs and they're going to cover everything it takes to get him back to his feet. And there's a lot of people obviously happy about that, but a majority of the NFLPA is like, hey, what the fuck?
Yeah,
because
they sued. They sued for all the old stuff.
Yeah, the NFL hasn't done that for any other player. And granted, it should be done in this case, but yeah, a lot of guys have died from health issues.
Here's what sucks is it's going to bite NFL in the ass. Because it's going to show that they do this. So now everyone's going to try to get the NFL to pay for all their injuries.
That's what their big thing was. They sued the NFL, and the NFL fought it, and then they settled on some smaller number.
And listen, the revenue numbers at the end of the year, it's going to be harder and harder for the NFL to keep getting away with this shit. They have the resources to do it.
Let me ask the question here, and again, I don't know anything about this, so maybe I'm just being dumb, but is this case different because he is injured actively while playing versus 20 years down the road later?
It's because if he had died, it would have changed the NFL forever. Like, we would have watched it happen on live television. They canceled the game.
Yep.
Like, this has already been such a huge deal that now everyone who doesn't watch football has an opinion about it.
And
but it was a way for the NFL to show face.
But you were saying that something about how previous players are like, what the fuck? But is that because they're incurring issues years down the road?
No, because there's players that had it during the game.
That just dropped dead and then
No, he didn't drop dead though.
Not drop dead, but dropped to the ground.
Paralyzed guys. I mean, there was a lot of paralyzed guys that couldn't, move their, from the neck down.
And you're saying that the NFL didn't cover any of those medical costs?
No, they didn't do shit for any of those guys.
So, don't they have medical insurance through the NFL?
You would think.
They seriously don't.
Well, I mean,
you have medical insurance, but I think the benefits of once you are out of the league is very small.
But that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, but when you quit a job, your benefits are also low. You're required to get coverage on your own.
No, but I'm just talking about people that are actively playing in the NFL, past and present. While they were playing, they didn't have medical insurance through the NFL,
or through the team that hires them.
Yeah,
or
whatever.
The NFL doesn't hire them.
Okay, well, whatever.
I know what you're saying. Yeah, you would think so.
A lot of the uproar is just coming from former players, like current guys who are on rosters.
Yeah.
They have most of that figured out and shored away. But when there's guys walking away from the game with lifelong disabilities or stuff that's going to stick with them forever, they're expecting the NFL to compensate them for that.
And I'm of the opinion that especially players now, I'm not whatever in the past, whatever, but players now get compensated well enough where they could afford insurance, and they kind of build that into their like $700 and something $1,000 minimum a year.
That's what DeMar was $660 a year, which isn't guaranteed. $660,000.
Isn't that less than the league minimum?
No. And he had a $40,119 signing bonus. So he's over the 700.
Okay. I was just thinking that if you were part of a professional sports team, that they would cover medical costs related to the fucking game, especially while you're playing. So that seems weird that it's like that he would have had to get his own insurance like through the marketplace.
Well, because they have the doctors that are part of the team and they send you different things. I mean, but a lot of the players from the 80s and 90s and 70s are the ones that are complaining.
Okay, I guess this is as of last year. The league minimum was $660. I thought they made it $700, but still.
Okay.
Yeah, I know it's still a lot of money.
So you're saying, and let me just get this right, that players from the 80s and the 90s, while playing, I'm not talking about 20 years down the road. I'm saying while they played, they were not covered for...
No, they were. They started doing health insurance in 1974.
Okay.
The problem is once they got out of the league...
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is like they left and... Okay.
Yeah, once they left their job, I would think they'd have to get insurance through their new job. That's what I'm guessing.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what my issue was, because I thought that while they were playing, like they'd get paralyzed and their team would just be like, well, go fuck yourself. Hope you have insurance. Like, obviously that's not the case.
Well, no, but once the team releases them...
I guess league minimum in 2022 is $705, and in 2023 is $750.
So it's going up.
Just hung up.
It's going up like $50,000 a year.
Yeah, it's not bad.
2029, the league minimum is over $1 million.
That's pretty crazy.
No, but like a lot of times, like a lot of the older players, once the team either cut him, like let's say the guy blew his knee out and then he could never play again. He doesn't have health insurance,
right?
Because he's been released.
Well, yeah, and maybe he got injured there. And then they try to sue him. They probably settle for a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then his contract wasn't never guaranteed. So let's say the guy was making, $1 million a year for 5 years, and then they get rid of him because he's hurt. Well, I mean.
And now he doesn't have a job. And
now he's hurt, and now he's sitting out, and he doesn't have health insurance. And
he'll have to fall back on whatever.
Yeah, whatever he got. But I guess you can't say $1 million a year back in the day.
Well, no, but I'm saying whatever, he graduated college, so I'm sure, whatever career field that was, let's go into that.
I'm sure it was very good. Look at Herschel Walker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting because then it's like, okay, but you also knew the risk.
Right.
So then you have to kind of say, well, you did know the risk and you signed whatever papers that said that they weren't responsible for X, Y, and Z, so now you can't be hollering and crying. So I certainly see both sides from like an individual point of view, and then also from a business point of view, like, well, fuck, it's dangerous. We told you it's dangerous. You did it, and now you're fucking on your own. So it's kind of like I don't know. I kind of see both sides, but I am glad that the guy is coming back to life and that he's not neurologically impaired.
Right.
So
yeah.
That's something to be happy about. Hello, who's this?
Emilio, hey Anna, Lummy,
Hey,
Blitz.
What's up?
The DeMar Hamlin, you think they might ever even think about how many COVID shots and boosters?
Okay.
Because they mandated in the NFL, because he's a super athlete.
Yeah, and I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, but unfortunately, where we're at right now, we're not allowed to talk about it.
No comment, but thanks for calling in, though.
But we got you.
Never crossed our mind about that.
We got you. We just can't talk about
Never
it.
thought about that. Didn't see any emojis in the chat about that. So whatever, that's fine. You can postulate anything you'd like to postulate. This is kind of like offbeat sports news, but apparently there was a ex-UFC fighter, I don't know if you saw this, who allegedly murdered his girlfriend in Mexico.
Who was it?
His name was Phil Baroni. Let me just pull up the...
Oh, yeah. Really good guy.
Did you know who he was, Lummy, prior to the murder? Because I did not know who this dude was.
Phil Baroni? Don't they have conventions for those people?
Let's see. Hold on.
Don't they have a Brony convention?
Yeah, Brony.
Did I put it
from
in...
New York?
Where
Baroni
did it
convention.
go? Oh, here we go. Ex-UFC star Phil Baroni arrested, allegedly murdered his girlfriend. Not the move, kid. According to a Mexican outlet, police found Baroni's girlfriend naked and unresponsive in bed with a sheet covering her. Now, the best thing about this was apparently like the statement he made, which was, again, murder's not funny, but it was like almost hilarious. When authorities looked at Baroni's body, they reportedly noticed the hands were red. They took photographs. So it just, obviously looks like he'd been hitting something. As for what Phil said transpired, the retired fighter tracked down authorities and told them he got into a drunken argument with his girlfriend in the hotel room when things turned physical. He reportedly told police he was upset after finding his girlfriend slept with another man, so he told her to take a shower, which is an odd request. I don't know if it's like, you're a dirty hoe, go take a shower. She refused. Baroni claims he then grabbed the woman by the arms and forced her into the shower, which led to her hitting her head. Not his fault, obviously, that she hit her head on the shower. The 46-year-old who was reportedly under the influence of drugs and alcohol reportedly claimed the woman couldn't get out of the tub by herself. Now I guess she's sitting in the tub. So he assisted.
With her hair.
Because he's a goddamn saint.
Right.
She then complained of being cold because she's a stupid bitch. So Baroni said he took her to bed, removed her clothes, and wrapped her in a blanket. So he pulled her into the shower with her clothes on because they were dirty.
But hold on, read the next sentence. Did you see that?
Baroni then says he went out for cigarettes and beer per her request. Yes, I read the whole article. And nothing was adding up. And then I'm thinking, like, am I missing something? Is this a joke? When he got back, Baroni reportedly told authorities he believed the woman was asleep.
Oh.
Tragically, she was dead as fuck.
And the thing is, that's probably how it went down, just not exactly how it went down.
Yes.
I mean,
I feel like the taking her into the shower, and then pulling her out of the tub, which I guess is a shower tub combination.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, I don't doubt that a kerfuffle happened, and he maybe accidentally slammed her head against the wall or something. And, made her ill, and he took her into bed, and, then he might have come back in and she was deceased, as it says.
Yeah, and I think it's very likely that she was unable to get out of the tub by herself because she, at that point, was either unconscious, drowned, or dead. Or a combination of both.
Right.
Or three. So it's just very interesting how you can tell the story where it's like factual but not truthful. Like, yeah, she couldn't get out of the tub by herself, so I helped her. It's because she was fucking dead because she hit her head when you dragged her into the shower.
I mean, look, it's clear he had something to do with it because he says he did.
Yes.
Which is also why you don't talk to the police.
But she was cold, Blitz.
Yeah, it's very strange that he didn't just leave her. Again, I'm not really well versed in what to do once you've killed somebody and who to call. I don't know exactly what to do. He was also under the influence of drugs and alcohol, so that could possibly be for the not really coherent method of operation.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're gonna run.
Well, don't forget that was per her request.
Right. Well, the cigarettes and the beer were per her request.
Right.
Yes, as he was putting her in the bed.
Yeah, she's in the bed. She's cold. He took off her clothes, wrapped her in a blanket, and then he apparently did a beer and cigarettes run because she asked him to. Yeah. Because he's a good guy.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So that's kind of all I got for you guys today. We'll be back tomorrow morning at almost at 3 a.m. 6 a.m.
Feels like 3 a.m.
3 a.m. West Coast time, 6 a.m. East Coast time. We hope you enjoyed the after show. We'll be doing a special Blummel tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And Monday, we should be back to regular programming where we have, 5 days a week. Start at 6 a.m. Bubba will be hosting the after shows.
Barp in 1 week.
Barp in 1 week. Brandon the Quad and his exciting biracial, bisexual, quadriplegic orgy.
Oh my God.
I cannot see that video soon enough.
I can't wait.
Yep. Thank you guys. Thank you, Rhett. Thank you, Blitz. Thank you, Lummy.
Thank you.
And we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.